We should be able to love who we want to love. Okay? You got people out there being sluts.
Yeah, no consequences.
Being promiscuous.
But yet this guy is getting
and
all
that's
the
fine.
dirt.
No, if people want to be sluts, go ahead. But if there's people that want to be in serious relationships, why are we making that illegal? Hey everybody, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I am Antonio.
And I'm Farrah.
So Farrah.
So
Farrah. How come you were copying my hairstyle?
Why you copy me?
So today we are going to cover a topic called polygamy. Okay, so we Googled polygamy just to make sure we got it right. Polygamy usually takes the form of, polygyny. When a man marries multiple women. Polyandry refers to wives having more than one husband, so multiple husbands, which is even rarer than polygamy and most documented among small and relatively isolated communities around the world. So polygamy, multiple wives, when a man have multiple wives usually. So today we're gonna watch a video on YouTube about a family, a polygamous family, and how they changed the law or something.
Wait, how do you feel about polygamy?
How do I feel about polygamy? But like if I could have multiple wives.
And like, why are you interested in it?
Shoot. I mean, who wouldn't want to have multiple wives, right? But polygamy is different from being swingers, and it's definitely not monogamy. Monogamy was just with two people. So polygamy, you have multiple people. I would assume it requires a lot of work. I would assume that the all parties involved all are in agreement and it's consensual, right? I think if it makes you happy, why not?
Can you do it?
I could
do it.
Will you be able to
do it?
I could do it.
Will you be able to go through with it?
Have two wives? Why not?
Okay.
All right, let's start this video.
I'll say proudly that I have 3 wives. I've raised between them 25 children, and between those children we now have 16 grandchildren.
17. I did the counting. 17.
Jeez.
25 kids. That's expensive.
That was with Maddie's.
I mean, pause. If you look at it through like an Asian culture, he got a big stomach. He's big.
It costs a lot of money to eat.
There is a false narrative that the nuclear family is the typical family, and that's not really true. People seem to think that Leave It to Beaver was a documentary. It wasn't.
You know you have a very wonderful father, don't you? Oh, sure, Mom. Oh, sure, Mom.
It was an idealized representation of what people aspired to, and since that time, the nuclear family has been held to be the ideal, and all other families have been held.
Well, we were programmed. Well, most people programmed to believe the nuclear family is the way, man, woman, and husband, wife, have the children. But in reality, I think there's more than, that's not the only family dynamics or relationship dynamics out there.
Up against it.
Families like ours weren't supposed to speak up, and if you did speak up, you could either be put in jail, or there was more often the prejudice you would experience.
One of the false narratives that goes.
Yeah, it's
That
polygamy.
sucks.
It's a felony. It's
sucks.
not legal.
In the U.S.
It's not legal.
Let's go back to the countryside.
Let's go to the Philippines.
Okay, or Utah, because they're still fighting for their rights over there.
Roundabout plural families is that there's no choice, and that everybody that's in them are either a victim or a perpetrator. And the lack of understanding that's gone on about plural families has really caused that narrative to grow, and different legal systems have kept people quiet.
I agree with her, because that's like the stereotype from people who don't really understand that lifestyle. That they think that the girls in there are all victims or something, and the men are the perpetrators or predators. You know what I mean?
They just don't understand.
And afraid to come forward and say, that's not us, that's not who we are.
Counter narratives.
All right, it's ready. Let's have blessing. Okay, go ahead and say it. It is a love story for me. We've all come from plural families. And, you know,
That's very interesting how they're praying to God. Because I don't think polygamy is...
In the Bible?
And while in the Bible, I don't think polygamy is recommended. But I'm not saying that the people in this family is wrong. I'm just, you know, I just find it interesting.
I just graduated from high school. I really was focused on school. I wasn't looking to fall in love.
I knew Joe, he was friends with my brother, and then Vicky is my cousin, and I have hundreds of cousins. So I think I saw Vicky and Val twice when we were kids.
They're all related.
You know what? Good for him.
These two are twins in the pink, and then there's the cousin. Okay.
Yeah, good for him.
When we got older, Vicky and I became friends.
As the relationship of the two of them blossomed, they decided they're going to come out after me together. And that was very confronting for me.
It was a surprise to all of us, but we were just like, let's kind of see where this goes. We're just open to
Yeah.
the life.
That's a lucky man. What a lucky man.
Yeah, keep it in the family.
They both came after. I'm like, whoa.
Listen, I could do that, but I can't do it with a family member.
Hey.
That draws the line. I can't do that.
Whatever, you know, they
That's
don't
their
mind it.
preference. If they don't-
Everyone's
yeah.
consensual. There's a lot we can say about this, but hey, if they found a way to make it work and they're happy, why not?
Lifestyle, so might as well
Yeah,
look
because
into
we
it.
both believed in it, and so we were like, why not look at it?
You know what's
and
crazy?
see
They all do look
how
alike.
it can go.
We were married for 10 years, and then this gal shows up.
I came along.
She had come out of a divorce and was coming over, and I saw her like for the first time for me, and we were both really confronted. I wasn't looking for another wife, and
I felt a zing, and then I was like, what was that? No.
shortly she joined the family along with 5 kids, and we became a plural Brady Bunch family.
A
Wow.
plural Brady Bunch family.
The crime has traditionally been if you purport to be married. So it was a law against language, rather. So we couldn't even talk about it. You didn't say anything about your family. You didn't want to lie, but then you felt this pressure like, I can't own who I am. I can't say who I am. And I think when you...
Yeah, that sucks.
That's hard.
That sucks because it's not legal. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of people discriminating and they're going to have their prejudice. So it's tough where you can't really fully live your life and be your authentic self, you
But
know?
that's why I'm saying it's hard. It must be hard for them because they can't really fully express themselves in public
Yeah,
and just keep it quiet on the hush hush, like in the closet. Like, you know, when somebody come out the closet, they can't even do that.
yeah.
That sucks.
You do that to a culture, you do that to people where they're not even able to speak who they are or be proud of who you are. It really marginalizes and then leads for that culture to be exploited.
And I'm interested in the idea that this nuclear family really was an invention of the 20th century. They originate from a 1950s idea that there was such a thing as an ideal family. And they originate a lot from the idea of normality. And
to
it
be
began
fair-
in...
When I'm getting a sense from this video is that, like, monogamy is it's a social construct that is teaching us that it's normal, or what you want to have is the nuclear family. You know what I mean? A father, a mom, and a dad, and the kids.
But you can't help what you love and want, you know, and your need. It's like that's telling a gay person not to be gay.
in mathematics, and in mathematics it meant the thing that occurs most frequently.
Check, no mistake.
That idea of normality was very much celebrated. People wanted to fit in, they wanted to be the same. Eccentricity was devalued, originality was devalued, and while the pressure on human beings was significant, it was nothing compared to the pressure that was placed on families.
Oh, he was Tommy's father, home from work. And here comes Mother to say hello. Every week, Father comes home with money for Tommy and for mothers.
Families had a way they were supposed to look, and there were roles. There was a breadwinner father, there was a caretaker mother, there were a couple of children, maybe 3, there was a dog, there was a cat. It was idealized in media representations, and the assumption was that in these households, free of disability, free of difference, free of so many of the things in which we have since come to find meaning, that it was in those households that people would have the best, the optimal, the most wonderful experience. So we came to a very sentimental and a very narrow notion of what it meant to be a family.
Marriage to 3 women, isn't that illegal?
You have never seen any family like the Dargers.
Love Times 3, our true story of a polygamous marriage. We have the Dargers here.
The Dargers were willing to come out as polygamists.
Good
at
for
a
the
time when
Dargers,
almost
man.
Nobody did. They
give
said
them props
the
for that.
representations that are out there of us are wrong. There are people who are suffering in polygamous marriages. There are people who find them joyful. Those stories need to be heard. Only
You think polygamy will last better if with a younger couple or with an older couple?
I would assume it's similar to monogamy. You know, the people that's in the relationship, they gotta work. You know, they gotta have some understanding and empathy for each other. You know, so I just think at the end of the day, it depends on the people that's in the relationship if they're willing to work to make it work. That's how I would look at it.
To me, I think an older couple will last longer in a polygamy relationship because they're more wiser. They're done playing games. They're more serious with the relationship versus a younger couple that's in it. They're there for the pride, show off, and it's just about status. They're doing it for a different reason, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's not about love, it's just for status and attention.
That's ageism.
Even though it was a risk to talk about. If we didn't do that, it was not ever going to change. We really tried to examine what we had to do to change the law. We did a lot of politicking. We got a lot of people active in politics.
Oh, they were protesting for this?
We had to really focus on the Republican Party to get any kind of influence and get people to see that we had a voice.
When these crimes do happen in plural families, they are often not reported because of the widespread fear of the media and law enforcement.
Joe has had a number of insights that were crucial to bringing about decriminalization in Utah. In the first place, he said, we have tried for many years the freedom of religion argument, and it has never worked. He said the freedom of religion argument does not, in fact, cause people to open up and say that they want to accept those of us who are practicing polygamy. It was defeated by the Supreme Court in the Reynolds decision in the late 19th century. It has been defeated in courts over and over again. He said, polygamy is a free speech issue. He said, nobody gets in trouble because he has slept with a bunch of different women and had children by them. He said, I have children with 3.
Well, think about that real quick. There are dudes out there right now that got multiple baby mamas. Mm-hmm. And he probably don't even love none of them. Mm-hmm. And he good. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there are women out there with multiple baby daddies. And she don't love none of them. And she good.
No consequences.
But you're telling me a guy that have multiple wives, that he loves them, he can financially provide, but he's a criminal? Mm-hmm. That is criminal.
And facing judgment and everything. That's sad. This is sad.
3 women, and I called them my wives. And it's because I use the word wives that our lives are stigmatized. He said, that is a free speech issue. I should be able to call them whatever I want to call them. And so it was the revelation, I think, that this could be negotiated as a free speech issue that was his great primary insight and the beginning of the shift toward decriminalization.
A lot of people know there's no way you're ever going to change the law in a Mormon legislature, and we had that unanimously passed in the Senate, overwhelmingly passed in the House. Polygamy is not legalized, to be clear, but it's decriminalized.
So you telling me people can go buy weed They can go buy alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
That's all decriminalized.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't love who I want to love? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
We got it to go from
It's like getting a
criminal,
traffic ticket.
felonious, to now it's an infraction
Yeah,
in 18 years.
I can see we're talking about being promiscuous.
Mm-hmm.
We're with the, being promiscuous, everybody acting like sluts. They want to act like sluts.
This is America. You know how they are. They like to break families.
Polygamy is about bringing family together.
So you take in Krista and Tori and...
Kristen, Tori, and Jenny's, and then Tess, either wherever we take her.
A lot of times, the fact that it was criminalized was used as a license to then discriminate.
Baby, so
Well, it's
cute.
not religious discrimination because you're illegal. So I can deny you housing, I can deny you a job, I can deny you a loan because you're involved in a felonious lifestyle. So now that we've been able to alter that just this year, we're hoping that more people can come forward and own who they are. And then we can put an end to this kind of narrative that continues to exist from keeping people quiet.
Hell yeah. People can use this to discriminate them, deny them housing and a bunch of other things. That's crazy, huh?
That's fucking nuts. Ooh, that's nuts.
If we just hold on to the nuclear family versus being more accepting, then we continue to ignore what is in society. What is single parents, polygamous families, it's gay families, it's polyamorous families. So if we're going to continue to ignore what is, then what we'll continue to do is then resist it, which then turns into hating it, which then turns into more strife. However somebody wants to organize themselves to create the future, we need to accept that because that is America and that is who we can be for the world.
Hell yeah. That's what America should be.
Mm-hmm.
We should be able to love who we want to love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You got people out there being sluts.
Yeah, no consequences.
Being promiscuous.
But yet this guy is getting
and that's
all the
fine.
dirt.
No, if people want to be sluts, go ahead. But if there's people that want to be in serious relationships, why are we making that illegal? Love who you want to love. I don't care you gay, straight, what's your religion, what's your preference. You have the right. Men have a right to have preferences. Women have a right to have preferences. Everybody within, in the range of all that happy stuff. Whatever, man. I can't even make sense. All I can say is...
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. We should be able to love who we want to love, man. Why are we gonna tell people who we can love? Come on, man. This is supposed to be America, land of the free. How can we truly be free when we can't even truly be free? You know what I mean?
That's America.
It's not like these people want to go burn a building or do anything bad. They're not trying to break the law. Come on. We got weed decriminalized. We got a bunch of stuff that's decriminalized. I think this should be decriminalized.
It should be. I don't know why they hiding it or, not making it legalized. They should. Look how happy they are. Look how happy he is. Throughout all that stress, he was still smiling throughout the whole video. That's crazy.
So, would you be in polygamous relationship?
Yeah. That's what happens when you get with a girl who's into girls.